Good evening. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that I'm not on my bike. I'm in my kayak. And the eagle-eared, if that's a phrase, amongst you will notice that I've got mute pressed on my camera. So this beautiful film that I shot on the river is going to be with me doing a voiceover. So the reason for this is because I've buggered up my rear wheel and I'm waiting for a new tyre to arrive. And in the meantime, I thought I'd get back out in my kayak, which I've not been out for 3 years. 3 years since I was ill. Since I had cancer, let's call it cancer, that's what it was. It's always been irritated me that we've got to be careful about using cancer. It's just what it was. Anyway, back to the boat. Here we are on the boat. Now, over to the right is a little white van. That's my wife. She's about to drive off. There she goes. She just dropped me in like a good one. What a girl. Now up ahead is the bridge that carries the railway line from Zaragoza to Barcelona. It's the old line. It's the single track. It's been superseded by a much bigger, faster line now, but it's still very busy with goods vehicles. I'm now turning to show you the mouth of the Siurana River, where it joins the Ebro. And the Siurana has featured in a number of my Priorat videos. Now I promise I'm not going to talk over all of this, but this was just to point out that these buoys I'm going past now, they're the only dangerous thing on the river. If you come across those sideways, they will push you over. I'm just going to point out there that the foundations of the previous bridge, the one that was blown up during the Civil War, that was what was poking out of the water there. You have to be a bit careful about that as well. And we're just heading around the back of an island here. It gets very, very shallow. So I've run aground here before, but the river's up by about 6 or 8 inches, and so we should be fine. So something I'm excited about trying is the waterproof casing on my camera. Yes, it means I can stick it in the water and see what's underneath. And we're just going to head over the other side of the river now and look at this, I would say, really impressive river cliff. It's sandstone and it's riddled with caves, and the caves hold the nests of a number of birds of prey. I've seen peregrine falcons and hobbies living in these caves. So the caves are impressive, but so is the depth of the water here. It's about 45 feet deep, which for a shallow river, which is most of the Ebro is, that's quite impressive. Now what's hidden behind here is a cave house. They're really rare around here. They're quite common in Andalusia, but for our part that's well, it's unusual to say the least. So I've just headed over to the right bank because we're about to go around another island. And the water shallows greatly here. There's a very, very shallow bank here, which is gravel, and just to the left of the shot here are some old iron pilings which were used to string nets across, so that men could jump into the water here where it's shallow and literally race across the shallows, chasing the fish towards the nets, and the nets would guide the fish into a huge bag, and they'd swim into the bag and be caught. What I do love about kayaking is you can just drift over this weed. There's no way you'd get a motorised vessel through here. They'd proper be stuck in this weed in seconds. Okay, so we're just coming up to the entrance to the channel around the back of the island. It's very, very narrow, and the water is flowing really fast, and you can't really see it, which is why I'm having to paddle on just on the right hand side here just to cut across. It's very shallow, you can see. It's about 8 to 10 inches deep here. And we're safely in. This is a beautiful, quiet little channel around the back of the island. And as you can see, it's gin clear and very shallow. But as you can see, there's a lot of weed, but weed is no problem in a kayak. You can actually paddle through weed faster than water because weed offers more resistance. So I'm just pointing out here that the channel seems to disappear. There's a very narrow piece up ahead, just a few feet wide, and the water there is quite fast and very shallow with some big rocks, and I'm just deliberating, should I go through it anyway? I never have before. Or should I go round to the right, which means taking a 90-degree bend very, very quickly? Umming, ahhing, umming, ahhing. Let's go right. Right. So we're down to about 6 inches of water here. I'm expecting to run aground. I'm hoping I won't. But if we actually had the sound working, you'd hear now that my paddle is hitting the ground with every stroke, because it's literally that shallow. But you can see I can get out and push, go faster. Now the slightly unpleasant thing about the island that I'm going around at the moment is that once a year they hunt wild boar on it, and the wild boar can't get away. They're on an island, and the beaters beat towards one end of the island, the boar run to that end of the island, and then they shoot the damn lot. I can't see how it's sporting or exciting. It's not even for meat, because they give some of the carcasses away to locals to feed to their dogs. So we're just coming out from the back of the island, but which way to go? I've got 3, 4 different routes I can take. I'm going to go left. Left? Woohoo! Right choice. Oh, purple heron that time. We're just coming out from behind the island. headed back into the main stream. And just around the corner here is my house. Well, that's not my house on the left. My house is hidden behind those trees. But that house is my neighbour's house. And you can rent it if you like. Just going to head across the current here. It's a bit of hard work, but it's worth it. Now I'm really hoping this shows up. But this is an old pumping station. They pump water from here, from the river, all the way into the Priorat. But during the Civil War, it was shot at by Franco's forces, and the whole of the front face is pockmarked with bullet holes. And I've got to say, they were pretty crap shots, because they were aiming for those two windows. That's poor. And as the sun sets, and until next time, thanks for watching.